Today, the techniques of the visual effects pioneers are still being used to make panoramic establishing shots. Matte World Digital has created many landscapes that help make fantastic stories believable. Jerusalem in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. The Venezuelan rainforest in Arachnophobia. A burned-out estate in Ireland in Far and Away. For a scene in the fantasy thriller The Shadow, the filmmakers wanted to create a shot of a palace high in the mountains of Tibet. It would have been far too expensive to build and photograph a full-size set in the Himalayas. Instead, the actors playing peasants were actually shot in California's Sierra Nevada mountains. The rest of the shot was created at Matte World. First, visual effects supervisor Michael Pangrazio oversees the construction of a miniature Tibetan palace. This model will not appear in the film. It will be the subject for a matte painting that will turn the Sierra Nevadas into the Himalayas.
I would say the magic of matte painting is purely the illusion of it. It's fooling the audience. It's being able to bring the skill, the synthesis of art and science, the technical and the artistic together to be able to create something that could not possibly be created any other way.
Pangrazio renders the palace on tempered glass, which offers an extremely even surface. The paint is cell vinyl, which is generally used for cartoon animation. Cell vinyl adheres well to the glass surface and is thick and opaque, so it doesn't show brush strokes.
You have to have a special attitude to be able to be successful as a matte artist. You have to be willing to not fall in love with your work. A lot of artists express themselves through their artwork. This is not an expression. This is a discipline. Matte artist has to change the work constantly. You can't fall in love with it. You can't take a personal offense at it. So I think there's very few of us because you have to compromise a lot.
Once the painting is approved by the director, it is combined with the live-action footage. The final shot makes us believe that the Shadow's Alec Baldwin really is inside an exotic palace in the Himalayas.
Let me go. Shoot through him.
Not every panoramic effect involves a matte painting. When the Shadow visits an ageless mystic called the Tukla, the artists at Matte World had to create a multi-layered shot that would involve several different effects disciplines. The first step is a drawing that defines exactly what the director is after. Next, renowned model maker Greg Jean is brought in to design and build a tabletop miniature landscape and palace.
Moving closer. Hey, Dave, we need to glue this little piece on it. It fell off when we were trying to pack it.
Okay. It's a pretty collaborative effort working with Craig and the guys at Matte World. We'd get drawings from them. We'd send back ideas of how things looked. We'd send them samples of textures, and we'd do like sections of the model, send it back up. They'd send it back with corrections and changes, and finally got it all together that way.
Greg and his crew construct 14 buildings for this single shot. The models are built to 50th scale. Model railroad Spanish tiles are used for some of the roofs, and all of the buildings are made to be shipped in sections to Matte World. Here, they will be reassembled for filming.
We basically create scenes that a normal film crew couldn't achieve any other way. So what we can do is add a tremendous amount of scope and dynamic vision to a film that perhaps would have to be photographed only on set.
While miniatures are often filmed indoors, Craig Barron has decided to shoot this model outside in order to get the real sky and clouds in the background. This will enhance its realism. Large screens called scrims, made of transparent gauzy material, the same cloth used for bridal veils, are placed between the foreground miniatures and the background mountains. This will simulate the haze visible in a real panoramic scene. This haze effect adds to the illusion of distance in a miniature set. After being assembled, the palace is touched up with gold animation paint. Powdered tempera paint substitutes for Tibetan soil. Finally, a mineral oil smoker called an ajiba is brought in to deliver eerie mist on cue as the camera rolls.
Okay. Got it.
After the palace is photographed, a full-size fire element is double exposed onto the same piece of film. This is being added to the interior of the miniature peasant hut for additional realism.
From camera, you can actually see through the flames here, so you might want to break up the rocks a little bit.
Once completed, the individual film elements are scanned into a computer. Computer artist Paul Rivera adjusts the size, color, and contrast of these elements. He combines them with footage of Alec Baldwin's double by replacing the green background with the palace.
Oh, I'll give it depth. That's great.
When The Shadow reaches movie theaters, the weeks of detail work by dozens of talented artists will occupy mere seconds of screen time.
You call that a temple? No. There.
It's a tremendous effort for a very short scene.
The clouded mind sees nothing.
But without an establishing shot, we would never get to see the ornate palace within which so much action transpires. For that sense of place, we owe a debt of gratitude to the effects wizards. Theirs is a job that isn't taken lightly.
I feel responsible that everything that I do is the best that I can do it. That is very important to me. No matter how tired you are, no matter how long it's dragging on or how frustrating, that you remain enthusiastic enough to complete it in the best way you possibly can.
It's a very exciting thing when you go to the movie theater and you're sitting in an audience. When your shot comes up, sometimes you can feel a hush or a gasp from the audience. It's very exciting to get that feedback and know that your shot has worked both as an illusion and as a dramatic story point.
It's very important, I think, for an audience to get the vista first. You know, at some point, as you're telling the story, to come back and go, bang, this is where this particular piece of the story is going to be told. Otherwise, I think they start feeling cheated. You know? I think they need a scope.
As long as filmmakers want to turn small sets into dazzling vistas, as long as big shots are required for the silver screen, Hollywood will continue to have its landscapes tended by the wizards of special effects, who create stunning views with hard work, skill, and a little movie magic.